turning on the chat. Happy Monday, y'all. It's the last Monday of September. Holy cats, that has snuck up mighty quick. Heading into October and the holiday season. Is a little worrisome for a lot of people. I was actually just thinking about what my holiday series of webinars is going to be, but I think it's going to be next level awesome. So hopefully you guys will be able to get on. So yeah. All right. So tonight's topic, getting support when you don't have any. Okay, so I'm going to start this off with kind of my story with support. When I was losing all my weight, I had people who were super supportive. But then there were people who said they were supportive, but their actions were very, very different. And so with that, it became a very stressful situation. It almost felt like anytime I was around these people, I didn't feel like because somehow they'd find a way to like stick their thumb in me, like just pound me back into the ground. And I find that is frequently the case for most people. I had people who were very, very close to me, family members who were very, very close to me who were not supportive. And they were the ones who would say they were supportive. And then in the same breath, they would offer me a pan of brownies and ask me why I was being such a snob. And it's tremendously hurtful, tremendously hurtful. And that's why I found that through knowing my reason why and what my goals were specifically, could I then eloquently put them back in their place and express what my goals were and why they were what they were. And I find that to be half the battle, is knowing your own mind. I was actually talking to my brother about this today, and it wasn't so much in regards to weight loss, but just his professional goals. And, he's been having some difficulties with people who are not supportive of what he's trying to do. And they're overall being very negative, and their words are damaging. And he was just asking, how do I get past this? And I said, you need to know your own mind. You need to know what is important to you and why it is important. Because then and only then can you express that to them and still maintain being in charge. And I think that's part of it for so many of us, is we spend our lives, getting railroaded by the people around us because we want to make them happy. We want to have happy relationships, and therefore we're willing to go out of our way and bend over backwards to do things that don't make us happy, but that make the people around us happy. And it's the whole people-pleasing thing, which I think is fine to a point, but can also be very dangerous and damaging. And I think that's important to remember as you are going through your journey. You have to remember that what you're doing it for you. What your goals are strictly your goals. It's not a reflection of, what kind of spouse you are, what kind of employee you are, or anything like that. It's just you wanting to move forward. And oftentimes people are threatened by people when, and this is actually a little earlier today, it says, sometimes the people you think will support you the most are the ones who discourage you the most. Your people love you, and they don't want you to change. It scares them. Change scares everyone, guys. Change scares everyone, especially when the people around them are changing, because when they see that you're changing and they see that you're wanting change, they automatically assume that in some way, shape, or form they will lose you, which isn't necessarily the case, right? You're just wanting to be a better version of yourself. But the people around you, they love you just as you are, and they don't want you to be better. They don't want you to be worse, but they don't want you to be better. They just want you to stay as you are. But we all know that staying in a place where you're never changing and you're never evolving, a place of stagnancy and complacency, is very, very dangerous. Whether it comes to your health, your profession, or your spirituality, or anything like that. We always have to be growing and evolving. And when you're setting a goal, specifically when it comes to like your health and weight loss, it's very zeroed in. It's very direct. You tell people what you're trying to do and why you're trying to do it. And that scares them because first of all, it's a reflection on them that you're doing things that they're afraid to do, but you're also wanting to change your appearance and your health. And that scares them, because are you going to change because you're changing your health and your appearance? You know, it could be for the better, it could be for the worse. And I can say that throughout my life, I've made changes that were not for the better of me as a person. And I've also made changes that did make me a better person. And so just kind of bearing in mind where these people are at when they're being negative towards you and they're sabotaging you and just overall not being supportive. So some things that I recommend doing with that. The people who are difficult, you know, if it's your husband or your parents or your kids, you need to ask them for their support. You need to verbalize and communicate very explicitly what your goals are, why they're important to you, and why, even furthermore, their support is important to you. And when they say that they support you, sometimes they don't know what that looks like. And I find that it's to be very important to communicate how they can best support you. So an example, I'm just going to use this one. It's kind of an old one, but when my husband and I first got married, the man has a really, really fast metabolism. He's naturally one of those very slender men, and he can eat whatever he wants. In fact, I call him country gravy, because every time we go out, I swear to God, he gets something deep fried with country gravy on it, and he can still maintain his slim physique. And when we got married, I had started to try and eat like him. Well, as most of us ladies know, we cannot out-eat our men. We've got nothing to prove by trying, other than our expanding waistline and our ever-changing health, and not necessarily ever-changing in a good way. So when we got married, you know, and I think I gained about 8 pounds when we got married, and I just had to look in the mirror one day, and I stepped on the scale, and I was like, holy cats, what's happening? And I had to go to my husband and say, I need you to support me in this. Not just say you support me, but support me. And he's like, yeah, I support you, you know, 100%, you know, I always do. And so we went on with life, and he'd offer me a cookie here, or a bag of chips here, or bring some munchies in the house. And I just told him, you can't keep doing that, because it's not supporting me, and it's not supporting my goal. And you know, he's very understanding, and not everyone is, but he was very understanding. And he actually started just keeping the snacks and the junk food in the trunk of his car, which for me, that was fine, because he could eat those things and be fine with it. But it was for me, one of those things where if it came near me or came in my presence, anything like that, if I was stressed, if I was happy, I mean, anything, I would reach into that cookie jar. I would reach into that chip bag. So we were able to come to an understanding where he could support me without enabling me. Okay. So it's important to, and you'll find, you know, that when people say they support you, you'll find that they're not necessarily supporting you how you need them to. And it's okay to stop and say, hey, this isn't working for me. This is what I need you to do. And if it's someone who truly cares about you and loves you, they will make those changes for you. So just kind of bear in mind. And you don't have to come down as like an overbearing jerk, but just kind of go to the people you love with, you know, I just need your help, you know, and I hope you can help me with this. And if you can't, that's fine. But sometimes it's also okay to create that distance between people who are enabling your old behaviors that you're trying to drop, right? And then I think it's important to also, you know, while enlisting the help of people around you and trying to explain yourself and why your goals are, what your goals are, and all that, it's also important to make a list of people, you know, 3 to 5 people. It doesn't have to be a long list, but a list of people who are supportive to you. You know, I like to call this my 3 a.m. that if things go crappy and the world is falling apart, and my world is falling apart, who are the 1, 2, 3 people I can call at 3 a.m. and they're not going to disown me as a friend or family member, right? And I think it's important to recognize who those people are in your life, because especially when you're undergoing some sort of serious life change, or and a serious life change such as losing weight is a serious life change. And it's important to recognize who those champions are in your life, like regardless of how often you see them or how often you're in contact with them. I mean, we all have those 3 a.m. friends. We all do, whether it's one person, 2 people, 3 people, but just the people we can call upon who won't judge us in our moments of weakness and will celebrate with us through our moments of victory. Because oftentimes, as you're undergoing these health changes, whether it's diet, exercise, or maybe even professional changes, oftentimes people you think will be supportive really aren't. And it hurts. It hurts terribly so. And it's important to know who those few people are who've always been there through thick and thin. I think that's beneficial. So ask for support is the first thing, right? State your goals as open and honest as you can, why it's important to you, not just what your goals are, but why they're important to you. I wanted to lose the 70 pounds so I could have a baby and so that I could live by example for my children to follow. And that's I got up every day and I exercised at 5 o'clock in the morning and, prepped my meals every day and planned them every week. That's why it was important to me. And being open and honest with yourself as well as those around you really, really can dictate how everything goes. So asking for support, setting your goals, and expressing your goals to the people around you, which is scary, it's vulnerable, but you can do it. And then also making a list of your 3 to 5 people in your life who are there come rain or shine. Then also go places where you will find the support you need frequently. So in the case of, you're losing weight, you're getting fit, you're feeling good, sometimes we have to abandon the places where old bad habits reside. So if you were going to make a trip to Eileen's Cookies, once a week in your past life, I like to call it my 200-pound foods, or my 200-pound habits, because I was 200 pounds and those are things that I did frequently. So places where you go that destructive behaviors seem to follow. So if going to Eileen's Cookies or swinging by the bakery at the grocery store or going through the aisles of junk food in the grocery store, avoid those things and frequent places where you'll find the support you need. So of course, we're all fit body people, right? So we're going to go to the gym. We're going to go work out every day. Where are you going to find your spiritual support? Maybe at the church. Maybe there's a support group at the church of people who are doing the Daniel plan or paleo or, just a healthy lifestyle support group. What kind of support groups do you have? I know if you are on this webinar, this is a new habit for a lot of you. Every Monday night, this is just something you guys do. And I think it's super awesome. Like I talked about with the grocery store, how are you changing your grocery store route? Are you staying in the print, maybe stopping over in the eggs, or are you still, torturing yourself going through the ice cream aisle and the chip aisle and the cookie aisle and the processed junk pasta aisle? Are you still torturing yourself with those things? It's important to recognize those old habits and change them. So, or the coffee house. Is the coffee house a place where you used to go to get, your designer beverages, like a Frappuccino or something? I don't even know. I go and I get black coffee because the Frappuccino really never had any meaning to me. So, maybe that's something where you go in, you're like, well, I can't go in there without ordering, my grande frappe, double cheese, 3 squirts of whatever. Then don't go there, or find another place. You know, I can make better choices with my food if I go to Qdoba than if I go to Taco John's. You know, I mean, just constantly adjusting as you need to. And if you're someone who can't eat out, period, without making a horrible, well, not a horrible choice, but just a choice that isn't going to move you forward towards your goal, then it's probably best you don't eat out. You eat in more, right? I mean, I'd be a hypocrite to say don't eat out, because I eat out 2, maybe 3 times a week. You know, it's usually with my husband, sometimes my kids, if I really feel like driving myself crazy. Let's be honest. Taking 5 kids to any restaurant is absolute suicide mission. So, you know, when we eat out, I make sure that I'm getting protein and veggies, and that's about it. You know, if it's my cheat night, I might get a dessert, or I might have some alcoholic beverages. But typically when I eat out, I know what I'm going to eat, and I go to places that support those efforts. So it's like going to Red Lobster probably isn't on the menu, because their Cheddar Bay biscuits are delicious and they will go straight to my butt. Their rolls, or I can tell them to keep their rolls, or of course I can rely on good old country gravy to eat the rolls before they ever have a chance to touch my lips, which is so wonderful of him. And you know, the great part about a steakhouse in particular is you can get your meat, you can get your veggies, and you can even get like a complex carbohydrate, you know, like a sweet potato that's naked. So I mean, it's just making those minor tweaks in your decision making that will help you support your own progress as well. And you frequently want to plug in with people who motivate and inspire you. If you are on this webinar, I know this is something that you frequently do, or you are in on the accountability page, or whatever you're doing, I know that you are finding some way to plug in with people who support you. And that is one thing that definitely makes FitBody unique from other fitness options, is you guys have the opportunity to constantly be plugging in with people who support your goals because they have the same goals. And it's really just a very unique situation to be in, because I remember back when I was losing my weight, I did it all on my own. I did it all on my own, and it was terrifying and it was hard, but I still found ways that I could plug into people. Back in the day, it was transformation.com is what I plugged into every day faithfully. I would plug into it before I would plug into my family, just because I needed that. I needed that connection to other people who are struggling or going through the same things I was. So definitely make sure that you are making friends within boot camp, that you are meeting new people, learning what their goals are, telling them about your own goals, holding each other accountable. I mean, it's really it's such a precious environment to put yourself in. And I'm so proud of you guys all for being a part of this journey with us. So making a plan of accountability, what does that look like to you? For me back in the day, and even still frequently, I have a coach. I have someone train me. Trainers need trainers. Trainers need accountability. And I have a coach. I have a business coach. I have a health and fitness coach. I have people who are holding me accountable. That if I fall off the bandwagon or I don't stick to the plan, I have to tell them about it. And it's not the thought of them coming back at me and saying something horrible or like, get your shit together or whatever it is, that prevents me from doing that, because they're typically pretty gentle. But it's admitting my own failures and wants to admit their own failures. So it's important that you invest in some sort of coaching, which obviously you guys are a part of FitBody, so you already are. So you're utilizing it. You're on the webinar. You're utilizing that extra coaching. You know, are you scheduling coaching appointments or coaching calls? Are you sitting in with a trainer? Are you checking in on the accountability Facebook page? Are you checking in with maybe a buddy you meet at the gym? Is there someone who you're like, I know they're waiting for me, so I can't let them down? If you don't find someone, there are so many people, you know, you see the same faces every day, depending on which session you come to. Get to know them and just make them an accountability buddy. Create a weekly meal plan. This I cannot stress enough, and I know I repeat it so often I sound like a broken record, but having that meal plan in place is crucial to your success. Okay? When I was losing 70 pounds, I meal planned religiously, and I still do. It's been 10 years, and I meal plan every week on Sunday. I prep what I can, and I stick to the plan. And when I don't stick to the plan, things get ugly right now. So make sure you are setting yourself up for success by taking, 20, 30, freaking 2 hours on a Sunday or a Saturday or whatever day works best for you, where you can create your meal plan so you will be successful. Because ultimately, you guys, I don't know if you realize this, you are the only one with the power to control what goes in this thing. You're the only one. Don't fuck it up. Excuse my language. And journal your successes and failures. Writing down what your wins are, celebrating your own success is such a boost to morale. Such a boost. But also being able to journal your failures and not staying stuck in that failure, but saying, you know what? I'm going to do better tomorrow. Tomorrow will be awesome, and I will do better tomorrow. Removing yourself of that guilt, because nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. This last weekend was my daughter's 6th birthday. God, I can't believe that. My youngest, my baby, she's 6. She lost her first tooth. So exciting. Blood Moon Zoo. It was so awesome. But she had birthday cake, and you better believe that I shared some birthday cake with my husband, and it was great. But I also know that I'm not going to have birthday cake today, and it's not the end of the world that I had birthday cake. It's okay to celebrate things and be okay with that. And also realizing that while failure to achieve your goal may always be a possibility, it doesn't have to be an option if you refuse to quit, even if you have a temporary setback. Refuse to quit. Refuse to quit. And I can tell you that alone, that one saying is something that, has taken me this far in my life and in my business, is my tenacity, to not throw in the towel, to not quit, to continue going even when it gets hard. Because y'all, life is hard. It's hard. And failure is always a possibility. It is always a possibility, but that doesn't mean it has to be an option. You work as though you will not fail, and do not quit. Put in the work when no one is watching. Do what no one else wants to do, and you'll get the results you want. There's something beautiful about doing the work when no one is watching, because not only do you not have to enlist the support of others, but you do what you want. Do what you can when nobody is watching. Do the work when no one is watching. Do not accept failure as an option, and do not quit. You are worth the goals that you set, so keep pushing forward. Don't stop, and don't be deterred by the naysayers. It's okay to say no to other people. It's something I'm really, really good at. And, in the periods where I've competed and gone months, literally months of nothing but chicken and broccoli and fish and broccoli. One time, and it was kind of interesting, because people still offer you food that isn't on your meal plan, and you have to turn it down and say, no, I'm working for a goal. No, I'm working for a goal. And they look at you like you're kind of crazy, right? Maybe you guys have gotten that look, like, she's kind of crazy. Like, she's saying no to this. She's got a goal. It's because they don't understand. But one of the greatest compliments I can say that my stepmom has probably ever given me is when someone once asked her, or they asked me, how do you do that? How do you turn people down? And she didn't even let me, just does. She says no and moves on. Like, that's final. That's it. It's kind of like when we talk to our kiddos, and mama lays down the law. And that is all there is. Mama has laid down the law. There are no more questions. It's no different than when it comes to how much you're willing to dig your heels in towards achieving your goals. So definitely be sure to make a list of your greatest supporters and call them frequently. It's okay to be sad and confused that you don't have the support of those closest to you. Parents, friends, and coworkers. I mean, people that I didn't have. It was hard. It was sad. It was confusing. It was lonely. And I still have periods of that where I'm like, why don't you support me? Like, I thought you loved me. But then then it turns around at some point and people see that you're successful and suddenly they want to be supportive. It's not their lack of faith in you or lack of faith in the process. It's just they're scared. I can say that several times throughout my life, whether it was in personal development or health related or business development or whatever it is, where I've had people who I thought would support me and didn't. And then 5 years later, they come up to you and they pat you on the back and say, I knew you could do it. And it's just like, it's confusing even then. Like, I'd gotten used to you not supporting me and now you're supporting me. What am I to do with this? It's difficult. It's difficult. And it's hard, I think, as women in particular, to not over-evaluate it. God bless my husband. He's reminded me of that many times. I'm going to go ahead and take some questions. If you have any questions, feel free to enter it in the chat if I didn't cover anything. If you're on video, feel free to unmute yourself. I did have a question from Rebecca before she had to get off about handling horrible people. She said, how do you handle horrible people? Like people who are just mean, nasty, hateful on the inside. If you have to work with these people, there's only so far into your office you can hide, right? And honestly, it's something where establishing boundaries, and this is something that we have had to learn over and over again here in the Fit Body family, and even in my personal family, is establishing boundaries. And being okay telling people, no, this is the line. You may not cross it. Do not touch this line. And being very firm in that. And, having, consequences established. And consequences don't have to be something like, we give our kids, like, you're going to time out or something like that. Having consequences established if someone crosses the boundaries. It's important to always be establishing boundaries with coworkers, family, friends, anything like that. And it doesn't make you less of a person or a horrible person. If anything, it makes you better and better to communicate because you know where those lines are. You're not constantly tiptoeing on eggshells, walking on glass, because no one needs those kind of relationships. As far as horrible people who are just nasty, if they will not acknowledge your boundaries or, respond to like an arm's length approach, you just do the best you can with what you can and just constantly be reestablishing those boundaries. It's hard, but you got to do it. And know where you stand. Like I told you guys earlier, it's important to know where you stand, why you stand there, why it's important to you, and to be able to accept that my employees could tell you that's something that I'm pretty good at. is why do I do what I do? Why do I do it when I do it? And be able to stand firm in that. You have to draw the line in the sand and dig your heels in sometimes, and that's okay. It's okay to have those boundaries and to be able to say, that's not right. And to, nobody really likes conflict, but if you don't address conflict when it arises, it boils and festers and creates resentment. So that's what I've got on that. Karen, any ideas on how to plan for the road bumps? They will always happen. Okay, what kind of road bumps are you referring to? As far as like self-sabotage or nutrition, or what kind of road bumps? I'm going to try and field this before I see anything come up. Hopefully I answer it for you. So as far as road bumps, if you fall off the bandwagon, sister, pick your ass back up and get back on it. Shit, you're the only one who can. If you make poor food choices for one day or 1 week, 1 month, pick yourself back up and try again. Try again. Do not accept failure as an option. Don't. I mean, and here's the thing. I mean, bottom line, whether you're always starting again or you stay consistent, you're always starting. And with every start, you get one step ahead of where you just were. So you're always moving forward one way or another. And I think it's important to recognize that and not spend so much time beating yourself up because you couldn't do it perfectly. God bless us perfectionists. We suck. Like, at some point, you got to realize ain't nothing in life perfect. And the more you strive for perfection, the more you will drive yourself freaking crazy. When you want to throw in the towel, don't. Don't. You're the only one who can control that. When you want to throw in the towel, remember why you started. Remember why you started. Remember why it's important to you. You want to grow old and have a great quality of life with the man of your dreams. And if you're always starting over, at least you're starting. Because in one way, shape, or form, it's still continuing the process. Albeit with a shame, but deal with that, deal with the guilt, deal with the shame, and freaking move on. You can. You have that ability. You have the power. You have the power. No one else can do it for you. You have to. You can. The good Lord has given you an able body and an able mind. Use it for good. Use it for the good of you and those around you, because when you are at your best, you can be your best for those around you. And sometimes that is terrifying. Sometimes that is so terrifying, is being the best you, realizing your true power, your true potential. It's terrifying. It's terrifying. But you want to be the best for those around you and for yourself. But more so for those around you. I know this group of ladies, you guys are all incredible givers. You give of your time, you give of your energy to everyone around you. And you're burned out, and you're tired, and you're frustrated, and you're stressed. When is the last time you stopped to appreciate you? and take time to take care of you. Because I know when I'm better taken care of, I can better care for my family because I'm not always wanting to rip someone's head off. You know? So road bumps, they do happen. Write about it, cry about it, let it go, and keep moving. If you have to have a cookie, freaking have a cookie. Don't have an entire bag. But stick to the plan. Like overall, stick to the plan. Have your day where you make a plan. That is on your calendar. That's on your schedule. This is my plan day. Have a day where you make a plan and then you stick to the plan. It's that easy. It's that easy and that hard, all in one fell swoop. That's incredible. How something so simple can be so difficult. What other questions do you guys have? I hope you're getting something from this, because I know how hard it is to feel like no one around you is supporting you and you're really in a boat by yourself. Beautiful thing, seriously though, you guys, being a part of FitBody, having access to that coaching. I mean, this is high level coaching should you choose to take advantage of it. Having access to all these people who have similar goals. You are in such a tremendously powerful position of growth. Don't squander that. Use it. Use that. It's incredible what you can get and what you can give. It's incredible. Are there any other questions? I'm going to give it just another moment. If we don't have any questions, then we'll wrap it up. You guys are awesome. And I want you to know just how much of a treasure each and every one of you on here is. And even for those who will watch the replay later, every single person who is a part of my life, who is a part of FitBody, or who even just trusts me, my staff, with helping you achieve your fitness goals, whatever that looks like. You guys are all a treasure. Know that you are a treasure and embrace that. There was once someone in my life who you would give her a compliment, and instead of saying thank you, and I think Karen knows this person, she would say, I receive it. I receive it. You don't have to receive everything, but do receive some good that comes your way, even if you have to fight and claw your way to get it. Receive it. All right, guys. Well, I love you all, and I hope you have a wonderful night, and I appreciate each and every one of you getting on here with me tonight. As always, if you have any questions that were not answered or comments or concerns, feel free to post them to the accountability page, message me, call me, text me, set up an appointment. Either way, just reach out. So I appreciate each and every one of you for being on here. And Karen, thank you for challenging me as always. You are thebomb.com. Have a great night, guys.